Okay, so in this class, I want us to implement this design, okay, using TailwindCSS, and also to implement the mobile view, also using TailwindCSS. So we're going to cover here, how do I create grid system in Tailwind, and also how am I going to do media querying using TailwindCSS. If you're not concerned with how TailwindCSS works or the installation process of TailwindCSS, I will link you to the description above. Okay, so you will also have a click on it and then see how you can actually implement or install Tailwind to make it up and running on your PC. I'm not actually going to make all the designs. I only want to cover for this class. I only want to cover the grid. How do I create the grid and how do I make it to be mobile friendly by creating the mobile layouts. Okay, so first thing I will do is I have to create a div. I have to give this background color, and I have to create a div. And creating the div, I have to create 7 divs, and each div will have a container div inside it. Okay, so I'm going to call the main container that we have everything in main. So I will create a div and have inside. So these other containers are kind of related. So what I will do is I will simply create one and duplicate it when I'm done to multiple times. Okay, so this is the one that looks different. So I'm actually going to just do 2 and I will duplicate the rest when I'm done. All right, so coming back my VS code, I have already installed TailwindCSS here and I have included the output file here. I'll give you a link in the description how I come about this output CSS for it also gets the feel of it. So I will have a main, and inside my main I will have a div, and inside the div I will have a div, and let me just give these things to be 2, though I'm going to duplicate the rest of them better. So inside my body, I'm going to give it a class, and I can say BG slates. I think slates 950 will be able to do that for me. Okay, so when I have that up and running, I can actually see now that my tailwind is running and the color is there. So another thing I can do is, okay, maybe I should just stop this one here and I go to the main. So the main is going to have a class of I will make it to have a grid. So if I give it a grid, and I will say grid. So you write the value whenever you're doing Tailwind. So I write grid and grid template column, and I will say grid code 4. Okay, grid column to be 4, not 5, 4 actually. So because I have 4 columns here, this design is showing me 4 columns, but this 4 column is not for small screen. So I will actually say for medium screen and above. So I'm going to say MD4. Okay. So, and I'm going to do MD again for the grid row, and the grid row for this is 2. But this grid row 2 will not give me a height for my div. It's not going to give me a height for my div. Okay. So I need to specify a height for it here. I come here and specify a height for my div. So I prefer to do that here. I can say my div will have a height of 200 pixels. That's called 200 pixels. Because I have 2 rows, that is why I'm giving it to 200 pixels each. So maybe I should increase it to 300 pixels. And this one too is 300 pixels. Okay, so if I hover on this, I can actually see that what I wrote is 300 pixels, 300 pixels. So that is the grid template rows that I have on the medium screen. Okay, so looking at the design tool, I will notice that this is actually at the center. It's not taking the 100% the size of its parents. And if I leave this, I will know that my main take 100% the width of its parents. So when I say W needs to be like 3/4, which is 75% the width of his parents. And I can actually put it to be like MD. So this is like this only on the medium screen. 24% the width of each parent. Okay, so I will need this thing to actually be on the center. So I will simply navigate here. So I want to show us how this thing is. Let me just give this to a class. Or rather, let me do it for both of them. Hold the Alt key and I click here. I give it a class of BG Orange. BG Orange. So you can actually see what we are doing here. And let me specify gap here. So gap is 4. That is the space between each grid element before. So you can actually see what I'm doing here. You can see the 2 grids and the eye here. So I want this to actually be on the center. I don't want it to be here. I need them to be on the center. So I can come here and tell this to display as a flex. And I want the flex to be item center, and justify center. So item center, justify center. So that will bring my main to be at the center. But it's still up here because my body doesn't have a height. I can specify my body to have a height of screen. Height each screen is everly equivalent of 100 VH, that is viewport to be 100. So now I can actually have this thing to be here. So item center and justify center. And of course, this is taking the length that this thing has. So fine. All right. So if I duplicate the rest, I'll be able to get the sizes of every other one. So I'm only working on 2 for now. Okay, so it's like 200 pixel is much because I have to make it 200 and 200 pixel. So 200 pixel, that is fine. That is much better. I can have this thing staying here. Mind you, I have 2 rows here. Okay. So that is it here. So for the small screen, this row is going to be 7. So I'll simply say grid row, say grid row to be 7. Okay, so I simply say grid row to be 7. Okay, so I want my rows to be 7 and grid rows just have to be 7. So I can simply put maybe I want the size to also be 200 pixel or 250 pixel now. 250 pixel on the row. And then for the small column, I want it to be grid co1. So I only want it to be 1 column. Definitely, if I look at this for small screen, I can see that it's 1 column. But for the big screen, I can see that it's 4 column. Okay, and then 2 rows. That's why I'm specifying MD co1. So this is always mobile first. Okay, so it's going to take 1 column for the small screen, and for the big screen, it's going to take 4 column. For this big screen, it's going to take 2 rows, and for the small screen, the grid template will just be 250 pixels. So that is the height of each row. Okay, so you can set to bring these things down. So I'll be able to see what I'm doing at each point. So my work still looks fine like this. Okay, so let me just delete one because for now, okay, let me just leave it still. So what else do I actually need to implement here? If I look at this design, I will notice that this has a curved edge, this has a curved edge, and that is exactly what I'm going to do there. I want to make the edge to be curved. So you can just select this two and give it rounded XL. Let me just make it to Excel. That is how full I want it to be rounded. You can see that has rounded, it's rounded to Excel. Okay, but for this very one, for this very div, I will notice that it's entered 2 rows. All right, so it's entered 2 rows because for here it's 2 rows. This very div has 2 rows. Okay, so there are 2 ways I can do that. I'm actually telling it row span 2. I can actually tell it row span 2, so it can actually enter 2 rows. You can see telling it row span 2, or I can say row start 1 and row end 3. Why do I say row end 3? So remember, in your normal grid, this is 1, at this point is 2, at this point is 3. So this row starts at row 1 and it ends at row 3. Or I can say that it spans 2 rows. So no one that makes me to write less amount of code, and most time I go with it. Okay, so that will also do it for me. So you can see this works better for me still. Okay, so we rather prefer to write row span 2, and I'm going back to that. So row span 2 still does the same thing for me. All right, so going to the inner div here, I'm going to give it a class. So for this one, I'm going to have a class. So, but mind you, this row span 2 is only for the medium screen. Okay, I don't want it to be row span 1 for I just don't want it to enter that for small screen. So if I minimize my screen, I can actually see that it's supposed to, I'm not supposed to have that small screen. Okay, so I'm going to the mobile view better. Okay. So just to make sure that anything I'm doing for the big screen, I'm also doing the same thing for the small screen. Okay, so this is supposed to be 7. Right, so if I have my small screen is not showing yet, but let's be going. We'll figure out why it is not showing us for now. So if I come here, I'm going to give this thing a background color. So let me just give it a BG of blue, BG blue. So just give it a lighter blue, and I'll specify a height for it. Okay. So for that height, for the medium screen, the height for this is going to be h equals, now what is the entire height of this thing? Okay, so the height is 200 pixels, meaning that I have 400 pixels since this one is running to the big screen. So I can decide to give this one to be 350 pixels. So I can just say 350 pixel, 350 pixel. So I've given it a distinct color, and you can see the 350 pixel. But I also have to round it. Okay, I also have to round it. I think 350 pixel is much. Maybe I can say 320 pixel, and I have to round it. So I can say rounded except. I need to give it the same value that I gave to other one, so it doesn't mess it up. Okay, so I can see rounded Excel, and that has already rounded that edges for me. Okay, so this is fine like this. Then I come inside this div here. Okay, let me just try to do the same thing, just not select this, so I can copy it and paste it here, but I should know at what point to change. Definitely the size of this is 200 pixels, so I'm not going to allow it to be 200 pixels. If I look here, I will see that this is around 160 pixels. So I can give it 160 pixel, and rounded Excel 160 pixel with rounded Excel. So that is fine. So well, something is happening. I've messed up the code. Okay, I mistakenly deleted my quotation mark, so that is why it was a mess. So I'll remove that, and you can see it has come up. So, but here, looking at this design, I will see that this is actually down and not up. So the way I'm going to do that is to give it margin at the top. So since this is 108 pixels, I can make the margin top, which is empty, I can make the margin top to be like 40 pixels. So I still put that to 40 pixels. So when I do that, I expect it to now come down. Fine. You know we are done with the designs? Okay. So with that, I will simply need to duplicate this multiple times. I can just select it. So this is one, hold down Alt key plus Shift key plus arrow down. I'll get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Save that, and voila, I will have my code showing. So this is just easy how I can actually implement this. So, but again, I have to consider what happens on the mobile. Why is it that my mobile view is not showing? So when I go to my mobile view, you can see that I'm not seeing anything on my small screen. This is one of the challenges that you may face anytime you're working with programming. Okay, things are bound to happen that way. So when I try to look at the small screen, I see that nothing is happening, and I can just go to my code and say, why is it I don't have anything happening? Okay, I look at this and look at, oh, is there anything that I specified for a small screen or for a big screen I did not specify for a small screen? And I can easily notice that for my small screen or for my big screen, medium screen, I specified the width, but I did not actually specify anything here. So I can say for my small screen, I want the width to be 6/7. 6/7, do I actually have that? I don't have 6/7. So 5/6 actually. 5/6. Okay, 5/6. So I want to specify the width for that small screen. And when I do that, I can actually see that it is showing now. And I have how this is going to look for my small screen. But again, all my blue parts is just not showing me. I cannot see these blue parts. I'm not seeing them in my design. Okay, my blue parts here, I can't see them. And again, if I look back, I will also notice that it has a height, but I did not specify a height for the small screen. So these things are just things that we need to always pay close attention to. And if I look at my small screen again, I can see that this is actually at the center. Like, I don't want this to be like this, okay? I don't want this spacing here. All right, so since the big screen is working well, so let's just leave it on the small screen and look at what we can do. So one of the reasons that is happening is because I have item center here. So I can actually specify that this item center is basically for big screen. And when I do that, I can see that, hey, my stuff has gone up. And definitely I will need to give it some margin top. Can say empty to be like 4. Okay, so I need to have a space there. I can see that there's a space there now. Okay, for my margin top, I have a little space here. Okay, so that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. So again, it means I'm going to delete all these things again. I'm going to delete the entire stuff again. I'm going to. So I'll say H. I want my height now to be for the B screen. I want the height to be, probably should just maintain at um uh so okay, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? So this height here, because I'm going to output, I'm not going to allow it to be this. can see this should be 300 pixels. Okay, so I want it much more bigger. I want it to be much more bigger. Okay, so you can see it is bigger now. It is bigger. I want it to be 300 pixels. Okay, so definitely one of my small screen, the height should be 300 pixels. All right, so meaning that this one will simply be H here. So when I'm on a small screen, I want my H here to be 300 pixels. I want my H here to be 50% of it, which is roughly about 170 pixels. Okay, 170 pixels, and I still want the same thing for this, so I can say 170 pixels. Okay, pixel pack. So 170 pixels for this, 170 pixels for that. Okay, so I should be able to have it. You can see that here, 170 pixels, 170 pixels. I think that's how it is looking on the small screen here. Okay, so basically that's what is on top. 170 pixel, 170 pixel. So, but if I'm giving it 170 pixel, and you just have to be sure what we are doing at each point. If I'm giving 170 pixel, okay, knowing that the height is 300 pixel, it means I'm going to give this to be my margin top here to be about my margin top here. I can make it to be about, so this 40 pixel for margin top can only be from my medium screen, empty, to be 40 pixel. So I'm not going to allow it to be 40 pixel, but so imagine at the top here, because this is how actually this is looking like. I want it to be down. Okay. Since my height is 300 pixel, that is the height of my row, so I can make this to be 100 pixel. Let me just say 100 pixel. So if it doesn't work well, definitely I will still have to adjust it and see how it works. So that is fine to me, and that is okay for me. So definitely I'm just working on those two because I know that others are related. So I will simply delete every other one that I have here and duplicate this one again. So just select it and Alt Shift arrow down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll be able to have that repeating the screen. So if I go to my base screen, I can see the way it looks on the base screen. And if I minimize, I can see how it looks on the smaller screen. So it's much bigger here on the smaller screen, and when I maximize, I will just see. So this is a wrap on how you can create media query with TailwindCSS. See you in the next class. Also remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you'll be able to get updates on every other one.